Yeah, a lot of people say we're getting ripped off for that one.
Well,
I talk about it and ask people, do they think it's
We're live.
welcome to Transfer News. Today we realised that Leicester have finally made a signing, well, close to, on the verge of making a signing, Victor Kristiansen from Copenhagen. Sam, Phil, what is your take on this very possible transfer?
Do you want me to be honest?
Go
I
on.
couldn't care for it.
then.
I think it's a bad move on our end. It's 70 million for someone who's only made 50 appearances in his professional career. You know, he's a 20-year-old lad that I don't see much offers. I don't know how 20 million. I think we're being a bit ripped off for 20 million, to be honest. Yeah, signing's a signing, but for a left back, 20 million, again, no Premier League experience at all, barely any experience for Copenhagen. 50 matches really isn't loads in his total career. So, you know, I could be, in 6 months' time saying the opposite thing, but at the moment, from seeing just stats and what I can see from him joining, it doesn't seem. I'm not best impressed, to be honest.
Sam says, have you signed anyone yet? Well, from what we've heard of from a very reliable source, that we're on the verge of signing him. Contracts have apparently been signed on. He's just going to do a medical in the next few days. But Phil, what's your kind of take on this?
Well, can you stick his name up on screen? What is it? It's
Okay, so
Victor Kristiansen.
Victor Kristiansen, he's a left back who will take Thomas's place, hopefully, unless he is a backup in some way. I'm not too sure. But yeah, what's your take on this?
Well, I mean, I think Anthony Cox says who there.
Yeah.
You know, I get it. I think we do need to replace Luke Thomas because he has looked a little bit exposed, and I thought against Forest he looked a little bit exposed again. And then when we put Brunt on to replace him, I thought, pretty clear that we are struggling down that left back role.
Everyone is asking who. Yeah,
who is it? He plays for FC Copenhagen, doesn't he? He's played, I believe, in the Champions League. He's made 50 appearances for Copenhagen at left back. He's not very old, though, is he, really?
No, he's only 20 years old, as Jake's just had a look. And as much as people are saying you need experience now, I do think, I might be saying this wrong, but Christiansen might be a better option than Luke Thomas at the moment. Maybe Luke Thomas does need that loan time. So with JJ getting injured for a while now, maybe it's time for someone to come in and prove their position, really.
I mean, Sam, it just feels like, I think Rodgers is even saying now that we're probably in a bit of a relegation battle. You say 20-year-old?
20-year-old for 20 mil.
I just hope he can handle the battle, Sam.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of responsibility because Justin, like I said, Justin's probably not going to be match fit at all this season. You know, it'll take a long time for him to come back after a good 8, 9, 10 months out. So I think it's.
Lcfc great. Hopefully he doesn't get let back in the dressing room.
I mean, as much as it is nice to sign someone, again, I just 20 million for someone we don't really know. I would have preferred, like Tom said, to get Matt Target.
Yeah.
It just gets
More experience, isn't it, really?
Cost less, experience.
I think he's injured, though, isn't he?
But someone like that, someone who was on the cheaper side, I mean, we probably would have said the same for Birchall, and he signed 2 years ago, so who knows anymore.
James Ruddle says there, and that's what I'd sort of agree with, is he's not going to come in, as James says there, we need leaders, we haven't got any.
Well, he's just going to come in as a filler, isn't he?
Year-old is. I mean, listen, let's not grumble. We've been grumbling that we haven't signed somebody, so if we are about to sign him, thank goodness for that, because we are desperately in need of some freshening up.
And it is one of the positions that we have been asking for, because like I say, since JJ's got injured, we've been struggling in that position. Thomas is all right, but like you say, he needs the loan time out. He needs to get a bit stronger. He needs to just be a bit more better in his role.
Adam says there, doesn't he? Anybody would be nice. So
yeah.
Again, it's only going to help.
Also the squad,
yeah. Again, it's.
Thomas is out of his depth, and he is.
He is, unfortunately, just doesn't quite, and it's not doing.
How old is Luke Thomas now compared to this Kristiansen?
Same age.
It's the same age, but how is the difference because of Champions League? Is it the better experience this Kristiansen's had? I don't know, but
I'd argue. I'd say Thomas has had more experience because he played in the Premier League past 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Kristiansen again.
Can you just pull up Luke Thomas's stats?
He is, yeah, he might be.
How old is Luke Thomas as
like
well?
another wonder kid coming to Leicester or something, but you know, it's hard to say really because he's 20 years old. He's never played.
He's basically the same age,
If
same.
any league, the 21.
Thomas is 21, so they brought an even younger player in.
And how many Premier League games? Just can you put back on screen, Reedy, who it is we're talking about, so
Yeah.
people who are just joining can
Here
see.
you go.
We're talking about Victor Kristiansen, plays at FC Copenhagen, rumoured to be
He's played 50 times in the Premier League.
signing up for Leicester this week for about 20 million euros or pounds, we're not sure, but who is it who's reporting it?
John Percy,
John Percy.
and like I say, normally when you hear something from him, and with what he said, he's basically on the verge of signing for Leicester. All he takes is the medical for him to be on board with Leicester. So again, it's just, is it a risk? It is a massive risk because you're basically bringing in a younger Luke Thomas with maybe a bit more higher rated experience by being in the Champions League. But again, is the Premier League just as good as the Champions League? You don't know.
It's not just Champions League. He's played a handful of games in the qualifying matches, Champions League. So again, for me, Copenhagen are an average team. If you ever want to call it Farmers League, the Danish League is a Farmers League because Copenhagen are literally the only good team in that league. So again, he's probably played against, if we compare it to English football, League 2, League 1 standards. So, that's my thoughts on it.
Nick Halpin's comments, Reedy, where he says Thomas started so well when he came on the scene. I agree. I like Luke Thomas. I still do. He's just, I don't think
he just gets caught out, doesn't he?
I think he's part of it. I think he's part of a shaky defence, and I think when he broke onto the scene and we had Kasper Schmeichel in goal and we had Johnny Evans back there, I think he had a lot more support around him. I think
that last year when we played Liverpool, it was all in Salah's pocket, wasn't he?
Yeah, so I don't think Luke Thomas has necessarily gone backwards, as Nick's saying there. I think he's got Danny Ward behind him, which I've heard quite a lot of fans say Danny Ward doesn't inspire confidence in the back four or five.
And as well, someone like Barnes doesn't track back and help him.
No, and
so he doesn't really get support in front of him.
And you've got Amati giving the ball away here and there. And you've got even Ndidi. You know, I think it's hard for Luke Thomas, a young lad, to come into a back lineup that's not doing so well. Some would probably say Luke Thomas has got more.
Knowing our luck, yeah.
I mean, Luke Thomas has got better experience than this guy. He's got 50 Premier League games.
I mean, Thomas again, he isn't Premier League quality. He needs like a Chowdhury a couple of seasons out on loan to Championship standards. But for me, signing this player again is the typical Leicester model, which doesn't always work. Don't get me wrong, he could be a really good player and they could be biting my tongue in 6 months' time. He could be linked with, Man City for all I know in a year's time. But for right here, right now, I would have took someone with Premier League experience, even if they're on the older side, just someone who was ready to play here and now. Because it could, Reedy's been saying, and I know Thomas that Daka and Sumar are, still learning the ropes of the Premier League, but they've been there for 18 months. If this player does the same thing, then what's.
Well, we haven't got time really, have we, to give this lad's got to come in.
Yeah. He's got to be the next best thing because
he's got to come straight in and be great.
Oh yeah, if he doesn't start, like
you can't be saying, "Oh, give him another year." Like
no. This sort of guy now, we know we have to get to the summer in the Premier League. If we don't get to the summer and we're in the Championship, then there was no point bringing him in because that's when this sort of guy will probably leave anyway. So we need to keep him and hopefully stay in the Premier League and move on. Because then maybe next season he'll be an incredible player moving forward. So.
I've seen it happen before with, like say, Fafan and Morales. All these players that come in, you say, who are they really? What's like Fafana's worth 30 million? I think a lot of fans are like, that's a lot of money for someone who's not really proved himself yet. But we sold him for a lot better. But yeah, I'd say it's a signing.
That's the first one. Maybe that hit starts a few more, but you don't know.
It's going to be hard to judge because the next few games are. In my eyes, anyway, I feel like we'd lose them in a good season. Your Chelsea, your Arsenal, your Spurs. They usually beat most teams because they are a top 6 club in the Premier League in the world. So, again, a bit like Fives when he came into his first game. What was it, 4-5-0?
Yeah, looked good straight away though, didn't it?
Yes, but it's hard to judge these next few games.
There you go, Phil. Anyway. You said that.
Chris Wood on Monday. I said I'd take Chris Wood. If Chris Wood goes to Forest, I think we've missed another one there. But I know Chris Wood had a falling out at Leicester when he left. He wasn't happy when he left. So
It is, thankfully, a starting something special. Hopefully, obviously, it's a big risk. Like I say, to be in a position we are now, bringing in someone that young, basically bringing in another Luke Thomas. For me, it's a very
risky.
dangerous move.
For the situation we're in, I think we need to stop taking risks because last season it cost us with Daka and Sumer, and I mean it's proven now time and time again we don't spend the money on players that we should do.
I think Mark Higgs has got a good point there.
Even when we're signing someone, we can still moan. He's highly thought of. Don't worry about Thomas having more experience. Thomas ain't played Champions League games this season.
Look, I think Mark's right. We've just got to hope that
He does become
they
good.
watched a lot more of him, and he's 20, and he's also young dancing. This is why sometimes we say, I've been saying, people like Brunt and McAteer at their ages. And
Oh yeah, they should be already in the team by now. Yeah,
they're good enough. They'd be in the team by now. So 20 is not particularly young for a footballer. Anybody, Paul Jameson wants to play on Saturday. We might need you, mate.
Curtis, Carlos says, "What's you doing?" He's just sitting on the bench the last 3 months, so we ain't got a clue.
Play him or sell him.
Yeah, and like we said all yesterday that something has to change. Hopefully, this is the start of a change, and hopefully, if he gets signed before the weekend, maybe he will start against
There is
Brighton.
a chance if it went through quick, he could be there to play. He's been playing, so there is a chance, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Well, yeah.
We will just have to wait and see.
Let's just hope it's a good move forward because, like I say, it's a very samey Luke Thomas situation, isn't it? So
Just like I said, it's a risky player to sign. We'll see what he can do. Not going to write him off.
Nico Gonzalez will not be joining us, I don't think. There's been rumours that we've upgraded the price to see if it can come over to Leicester, but yeah, exactly. But it's all if and buts, and it just didn't happen, did it? So good news, starting to get into stadium development next week. Been given the nod.
Well, let's see. Richard might know something there that we don't know.
Well, there you go.
Well,
Yeah, it might be.
Right,
Positive. Right. Appreciate you coming on, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. See you in a bit.